Welcome back to the DMG's Third Wrong YouTube channel. Mike, obviously, today we're here with Gage and Dylan. Boys, how's it going?
Oh, just living the life, enjoying some mock draft season, and yeah, that's about it right now.
That's what we do.
Doing good.
Perfect. Well, as you can see from the top left of your screen over there, we're going to be doing the second round of a mock draft for once in our first one here. Second round mock draft in our 4.0, I believe this is. So it should be interesting to see. 3.0, that's right, 3.0. So second round in our 3.0 here. So you're going to be seeing some of the second round guys that we're feeling, see if you guys are feeling the same guys. And we're gonna jump right into it. But before we do that, make sure you guys smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment who you think your team's about to take right now, because we're hopping into the 33rd pick.
Yeah, 33rd pick. We got the Jaguars taking Jaquan Brisker out of Penn State. Big safety over there. Makes a lot of plays for him, and is just all around a great safety. One of the things you'll notice with a lot of these players is they're not talked about as much. So you'll see some people that you may not have heard of before. But Jaquan Brisker is a starter in the NFL, and he's a great playmaker for them there.
Couldn't agree more.
Perfect. Second pick of the second round. The Lions taking David Ajabo, edge out of Michigan. Gage, your thoughts on that?
I think it's a great pick. I mean, obviously, Ajabo shouldn't be this far down. It's just an unfortunate circumstance, and it was really sad to see that no one cared and just kind of moved on.
Yeah.
Especially since this is generational wealth for any average American.
Yeah,
he's missing out on just by falling down to this second round. But he had a lot of raw potential originally before he got hurt, and I think that's why he comes out of the first round instead of going into the first round, is the fact that he was already a raw prospect. It was just pure athleticism that they're okay, he's got some tools that we can twist. But now with that, it's just, is it worth taking that that big stab? We don't know yet, but I think with the way that they got whom in the first round again?
Malik Willis and
Daxton Hill.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good combination.
100%. Mikey, you're up.
All right, 35th pick here. The New York Jets are going with George Pickens, wide receiver out of Georgia. Now, George Pickens, kind of a rough year last year, picking up that injury and going down late into the season. So it kind of moved him back on a lot of people's boards, but this dude can ball. This dude's insane. He's a really good wide receiver. He's quick. He's got good route running ability, good hands. I think he's just needs to work on just getting better at being even better at the aspects of being a wide receiver. But he's there, just needs to get a little bit better. That's kind of why he's in the second round. But that injury also, that setback. So we'll see how that goes. But the Jets need a receiver, and not getting one in the first round, I think looking in the second round is for sure still a safe option. There's plenty of receivers in this draft, and being able to get a guy like George Pickens at this late in the draft, or this late in the draft, I guess I could say, is a steal. I think he'll come back from that injury, no problem.
I also think we should say that he was a first round wide receiver last year.
Oh,
he was going to go first round, and then he got hurt, and he didn't have to come back because he still would have been projected as such, and he came back because he wanted to win, which is good to see. I mean, obviously Georgia had a little bit more reason to come back and play, but you'd like to see that. And if you're trying to wonder what kind of prospect he is, think Josh Gordon out of college without the drug dealing problems and getting kicked out of school. That's kind of what the talent and probably pro comparison is.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Moving on to the fourth pick here. We got Brandon Smith, linebacker out of Penn State. So second Penn State guy to go off the board here. You'll see a theme of that as we move on. But Brandon Smith, he's a big linebacker, but he's fast, he's rangy, definitely a smart dude as well. I think PFF had him as like their 6 or 7 linebacker, and I do not agree with that. But the Giants get their linebacker to pair up with Blake Martinez. They had fits with that later on in the season last year. So you get a very solid dude with great physical traits and someone that can play that position at a high level. And I think that's a great need replacement right there. But I guess
Sure.
also moving on, how are you feeling about this one, Gage?
I can't read that. I can't.
Kenyon Green.
Kenyon Green. He should be going in the first round. Just the way that we had it mocked out, he didn't. We had a huge run on tackles, edge,
Yes.
and receivers. So he was kind of just the odd man left out. We actually had him going to the Dolphins, I think, in our first 2 mock
Yes,
drafts.
we did.
And with that, the need going out the window.
And the pick going out the window.
Yeah, and the pick going to a different team with different needs. I think it's a great pick for the Texans. They get Trayvon Walker, who athletically is a great prospect. He's a freak that could be a very good edge rusher that people are thinking could go in the top 10 now. You also get the best player in the draft that we all think is Kyle Hamilton, and now you get a guy that's a starting caliber guard in the NFL that should have gone in the first round. They did a good job.
And we just have the Texans going back to trading all their valued picks because I just don't like this look on the Texans.
Well, not only did my Browns get better with the trade for Deshaun Watson, they also screwed you over by giving the Texans so many picks that they can use to help build themselves up to lose to you.
I'd rather face Davis Mills twice a year than than Deshaun Watson. So you guys are also doing
Now you get to
doing us
just,
a
if
favor.
you guys make the playoffs, you get to get knocked out by Deshaun Watson and the Browns.
Oh yeah. That's how that will happen.
Yeah.
Mikey, going on to your boy here.
Ooh, another Jets pick. I'm basically a big Jets fan today. 38th overall pick, New York Jets. Once again, on the board here, they select Roger McCreary, cornerback out of Auburn. Doubling up on corner this draft already with their 10th pick in Sauce Gardner. I think they're trying to bolster down that secondary, get some depth there. Maybe Sauce Gardner obviously is going to be incredible in the league. But getting a guy like Roger McCreary in there too, just trying to get that depth. So, and you can't go wrong with Roger McCreary. I think there's
He can
one.
definitely play a slot. So
Yeah, he's more of a slot guy. The one setback with Roger McCreary is his arm length. It's like 29 inches or something like that. It's under 30,
Yeah.
and there's only 4 corners in the NFL that have under 30-inch arm length, and they're no one you've ever heard of. So we'll see how that goes. But Roger McCreary himself in college, he was a solid guy, really good in the slot, and the Jets obviously see something in him here, so they're going to take the shot on him at 38, and I don't know. I like the pick for him, though. Get that depth in there at corner and just make sure you got guys that can go out there and play.
Yeah, and I mean, after the first round, it's hitting on players that are just good players and not necessarily this guy has to be your franchise for the next couple of years kind of deal. So, moving on to the Bears. Okay, so this is yet again another Penn State guy. Apparently, I just like Penn State. I picked 3 Penn State players in a row.
Penn State.
So, but Jahan Dotson realistically could go before George Pickens. Obviously, he's healthier. I think with the Jets, though, they have something similar in the cat out of Ole Miss that they got last year, Elijah Moore. So George Pickens adds a little bit something different to the table. But Jahan Dotson is no joke. Him and Darnell Mooney shall be really good at route running and getting open for Justin Fields. I think this is just a solid pick. They also have holes to fill somewhere else, but value-wise, Jahan Dotson's a first-round wide receiver in a lot of people's eyes.
Yes.
Tackles have been run on, offensive linemen are been run on. So you get someone that's going to make a big impact and start rebuilding those weapons for Justin Fields.
And it should be stated, we have Jahan Dotson graded higher. Like we did our rankings. It was merely just a better fit Pickens than Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson's a beast.
Yes. But Gage, now that you're talking, let's slide you on down to the Seattle Seahawks here.
And I'm guessing that's Boya Mafe, right?
Correct.
Yes, yeah.
You're gonna have to read them off.
I'll read them off from now on. Yes, Boye Mafe, edge, Minnesota.
Yes. He's been getting a lot more talk and play potentially for a first round draft pick. We'll have to see with that. But regarding the Seattle Seahawks in this situation, you got your pick 9, and we went with
Jermaine Johnson,
and we get another edge.
Yes.
So double it up. Double it up. Edge is a valuable position, and guess what? The second most valuable position on a football team is the edge from the quarterback, right behind quarterback. So you need somebody to get the quarterback, and in their division, you kind of need that, and they've struggled with it. They haven't had any elite pass rushers for a while.
Yeah, there's
been their fault on defense, having Jamal Adams be their sack leader.
There's no GM in the NFL that's going to say you have too many edge rushers. It's never going to be a thing.
The Browns have Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney, and they want more.
Yes.
There you go.
All right, Mikey, sliding on down 41. We got Dylan Parham, the Seattle Seahawks with their own pick. So Dylan Parham, guard out in Memphis.
Yep. I think.
Yep.
Yep. All right, moving on. No, just kidding. Obviously, doubling up on edge with their first 2 picks, and then coming here with their 3rd pick in the draft at 41. Going offensive line. I think they gotta help build up that line to kind of protect Drew Lock, if that's who they're rolling with or whoever they're rolling with. But they got to be able to protect their quarterback. Their line hasn't been as good as of late. So getting a guy like Dylan Parham or Farham or however the hell you say it, but getting a guy like him in there and boosting up that offensive line to help protect their quarterback, that's tremendous in every aspect. So yeah, that's a good. I like that pick for the Seahawks.
Okay. Funny
as you can tell since I made it.
There's another Penn State guy. I don't think he's next, but Arnold Abachetti, and I probably picked him. So we'll find that out here in a second. But moving on to the Colts taking cornerback Tariq Woolen out of UTSA. One thing that I know about Chris Ballard is he's not shy in taking a player that he deems to be more valuable rather than trying to play the, who's going to get picked who or picked when kind of deal. Tariq Woolen is someone that I think has elite speed for his size, and he has been playing very well for UTSA. It is a little bit lesser talent level that he's playing against, but just the physical traits, I could see him taking a reach on someone like Tariq Woolen. Just trying to get in the mind of what Chris Ballard would do. Honestly, if it was me, I would just chalk up Jalen Tolbert here because I love him. But we have wide receivers, and I know Chris Ballard is pretty certain that he has wide receivers already in the locker room. So I think he's just going Tariq Woolen. So that's what I have here, but could be totally out of the park if you go somewhere else. But that's my best guess at this point.
All right.
But Gage, who we have here?
I can see now. We got Leo Chenal, linebacker from Wisconsin, going to the Atlanta Falcons. I adjusted my screen, so
there we go.
I think it's a great pick. Honestly, the Falcons after that Matt Ryan trade are like I would say tied with the Lions for the most talent deficient teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
And that's not like a huge insult. I mean, like you trade away your quarterback because that's the end of the era. You had your Super Bowl run. You try to come back for a bit. You just weren't able to do it, and you just kind of have to move on. They're doing that now. They have massing draft picks. They went all in for Deshaun Watson, weren't able to. So now it's just get best player available whenever you can. And I think out of the linebackers, I think Leo Chenal is, depending on who you are, either top 3 to top 5. So I don't think you can go wrong with it.
Hey, he's a bruiser too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mikey, Perrion Winfrey. Oh, well, this is more Gage.
Oh,
Perrion Winfrey, defensive
Oh.
interior, Oklahoma.
So this is like my dream scenario right here. I got 2 other scenarios I think would be better. One, Treylon Burks just magically falls all the way down because he's overweight and he's not super fast according to his 40 times, so he drops out of the first round. Make it happen. Second would be Travis Jones, which we had going in the first round of the Kansas City Chiefs. And then this is Perrion Winfrey. Perrion Winfrey is a very good defensive lineman, very good defensive tackle. And the Browns are a very well-built, deep roster, and they have absolutely nothing at D-tackle. Like, it is probably the worst group in the NFL. So I'm hoping we sign people before we sign Perrion Winfrey or draft Perrion Winfrey in this situation, but he's a great player. Go watch his Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
And he blew it up. The guy is dominant. He is super aggressive. That is, I love this pick. Obviously, I made it. So.
All right, sliding on down here. Yep, I did take another Penn State guy. So yeah, Arnold.
You like Penn State and Michigan. You picked the Michigan guys and the Penn State guys.
Well, I guess my wife's a Nebraska fan, so I'm more used to the Big Ten. So maybe that's my bias showing. But Penn State, they're always in the top recruiting. They're always a solid team. Some years they just fall apart. But Arnold Abachetti, he's young, raw, very physically gifted kind of guy. He's a pick that I know Gage doesn't like going to the Ravens, so makes it a good pick. He could go in the first round, honestly. There's some people that have that high of a grade on him. But looking at the Ravens, they got pieces all over the board. They have a pretty well-rounded team in most of their positions. But getting Arnold Abachetti, you get someone young behind Justin Houston there, and their other edge, I forget his name, but missed out on Za'Darius Smith. Kind of add someone with similar attributes. I think it's a great pick.
This is a Ravens pick.
Yes,
A raw guy that's just all athlete, or that has like a specific trait that is really good in one specific scheme, and then they make him absolutely incredible. So, yay.
Yay. All right, back to you, Mike, I think.
Oh, yay, back to me.
Yeah, this is the Vikings.
Back to back.
A guard / tackle out of Tulsa, Tyler Smith.
Yep. 46 pick, Vikings, obviously, as Dylan said, Tyler Smith, tackle, Tulsa. Vikings. Vikings went with what?
The Vikings went with Tyler Smith, tackle out of Tulsa. So,
Hey, yeah,
I just wanted to say it too.
Hey, Tyler Smith, tackle out of Tulsa. Yeah. All right. Anyways, moving on. No, just kidding. With their first pick in the first round, they went with Trent McDuffie. So I like that pick for them in the first round there. Get that cornerback. And then here they're going to go with the offensive line. Tyler Smith, tackle out of Tulsa, to kind of boost that offensive line, try and protect Kirk Cousins on his one-year deal, $34 million. So you got to protect that hefty penny back there, and you got to make the most of it. And Kirk Cousins, you like that. Isn't that mobile in the pocket? So Got to get guys in there that can protect him, and having Christian Darrisaw on the left side, and then probably having Tyler Smith on right tackle or right guard somewhere in that situation, but having both sides of that line locked down will just be a match made in heaven for you like that, Kirk Cousins.
And Dalvin Cook.
Yep, Dalvin Cook as
A
well.
little off topic, but Kirk Cousins is probably one of the best businessmen I've ever met.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, let's give him props, okay? This guy is an absolute genius. That is all.
Oh yeah.
On Pat McAfee's show, he's like, I don't do my deals. It's my agent. So props to that agent.
Well, that's why he's his agent and he stayed his agent, because he's
Yeah. Alrighty. I think this one's back to you, Gage.
Okay, we got Lewis Sine going to the Washington Commanders. Lewis Sine's a safety coming out of Georgia. I think it's a great pickup. It's now a need for them because they let Landon Collins go. That being said, I think Lewis Sine is a great safety. He's probably the best safety in the draft, and I'm just taking away Kyle Hamilton because Kyle Hamilton is on his own. He's on his own stratosphere. He's obviously he's the best safety in the draft behind Kyle Hamilton. I should say that just so people don't get,
Yeah. And he's more of that rangy free safety, whereas Con Brisker is kind of more of that box safety, right?
Mm-hmm. But it's a good fit. And Washington is known for having a good defense, which I don't understand why that's still a narrative, because they were absolutely awful last year.
Injured last year.
They were awful before they got injured as well.
Yeah.
So hopefully this helps start getting them back on the right track.
Yeah. Alrighty. Pick 48. Chicago Bears taking Kellen Diesch, or is it Deich?
I'd say it's Deesh.
Either way, this is a tackle from Arizona State. He looks like a pretty good left tackle. I think he needs to thicken up just a little bit more to do that. But this is someone that could end up being a very good tackle for you. Obviously, if he was going to be a great tackle, he'd be in the first round. But following up the Jahan Dotson pick, you get a tackle to kind of shore up your offensive line. They're going to be investing more and more in that line because it is so bad right now. But yeah, I think Kellen Deich here is a good move. Obviously, there's other players that you can kind of put in here, but as right now, Kellen's the guy. So,
and not just that, he's got the ability to play guard.
Yes,
he's got the body size for it, which is always kind of something franchises look at. He may be a tackle in college. If he can play tackle for us, great. If not, is he able to move inside?
Yeah.
So he's got that versatility.
All righty. Now moving on to Mikey over here.
Ooh, the Saints. Okay, 49th pick here. The New Orleans Saints are going Skye Moore, wide receiver, out of Western Michigan. First round, they went with Trevor Penning, my man crush there of the draft for some reason, but just is. And then they're going to pick up Skye Moore here in the second round, another wide receiver off the board. Is Michael Thomas coming back for sure? Or?
Who knows with him?
Who knows? Yeah.
Anyway.
he's a diva.
Yeah. Anyways, we're going to be in the world where he's back. And I think getting a guy like Skye Moore that can pair up with Michael Thomas and kind of help boost that wide receiver group that they have, which is lacking very tremendously in some aspects. But him paired up with Michael Thomas, I think they kind of complement each other very well. They both do different things, and if you want to not call Michael Thomas slant boy for once. But they're both different in their own ways. So I think having a duo like that in the NFL for Jameis Winston, I think Jameis is happy with this pick that his franchise just made.
Yeah, Skye is he's a baller. He's a straight burner, and if you're willing to wear number 24 as a wide receiver, you gotta be somewhat, confident and good. So.
Yeah.
This is also a Browns sweetheart, I guess. This is one of the guys that the Browns would want.
Yeah, I think he's a very good runner with the ball. He makes people miss, and he'll be great with screens and everything like that.
Okay, moving on to Fitty.
This is Gage.
Sure.
No, I think this is Mikey.
It don't matter who it is.
Either way, yeah.
Oh,
Chiefs.
Gage.
yeah, that was me. So we have the Chiefs going to defense, doubling up on defense in the first round. They went with who did they go with again? Off the top of
Travis
my-
Jones and
Yes, Travis Jones.
Kyler Gordon.
Kyler Gordon. Look at that, Mikey. Yeah. They kind of just missed out on the top 5, premier wide receivers, right? But they're getting a guy that's got a ton of potential. He's a big body, a different kind of wide receiver for Patrick Mahomes. He hasn't had somebody like Christian Watson to throw to while playing in Kansas City, but Christian Watson is the prototypical wide receiver that you would want. You're making a guy. You want him 6'4". You want him 200 something pounds. You want him big. You want him fast. You want him guy who can jump. He's got all his physical traits. He just doesn't have the film, and that's partially because North Dakota State just doesn't throw the football. But he's got a lot of hype, and there's a lot of people trying to push him to go to first round now. So in this scenario, Chiefs do very well. They get him in with their 50th overall pick.
Alrighty. Well,
Making some
Yeah.
some fan base pretty mad.
Yeah, I love Christian Watson. He's insane.
alrighty. Well, let's
Shout
slide
out
on
to our
down.
boy that put us on to him in the comments.
Yep.
Yeah,
You know who you are.
yeah.
I think his name's
51.
Nathaniel or
Oh, sorry.
something. Nathaniel
Yeah.
something, I believe his name is. Nathaniel Johnson, I think.
Yes, sir.
Well, we won't dox him too much now, but our 51st pick is the Eagles. I think this is their 4th pick so far in their draft, and it's just all defense. I think this is going to be the move. There's offensive weapons in all rounds of this draft, really. So
Eagles get Logan Hall. This dude's an animal. He's just like the other guy out of Houston last year. I'm spacing on his name, so someone's going to put that in the comments, hopefully. But Logan Hall is he's someone that's more of a D end that can play defensive tackle, but he is very well put together. He's got a lot of good tape, and he's just got good size. If it wasn't for who was it? If it wasn't for the Georgia boys, essentially, Logan Hall and Travis Jones would be kind of in those same kind of conversations. So I really like Logan Hall here. Gives more pieces for that defensive line in Philadelphia, and I think this is just a solid but not so sexy pick.
So, unfortunately for him, he's extremely versatile in the defensive line, which, funnily enough, is not like a desirable trait in the NFL. Really, if you're a DN, they want you to be an elite pass rusher. He's not really like elite pass rusher. He's a great defensive lineman. He can play inside. He can play outside. But if you want a D tackle, you want a guy that can play, all different spots of the D tackle position, and he's not big enough to play nose. He's kind of like a Calais Campbell body type.
He also reminds me of someone that played on the Colts that is now on the Titans, basing on his name. But
He dominated you guys. You should remember it.
I wouldn't say dominated, but he was definitely good. They were a better team than us this year. But spacing on his name, but he's another defensive tackle that I know is kind of in that same range. But man, I'm spacing. He came from the Raiders, so I honestly don't remember his name. But not a sexy pick. No one remembers your name.
Moving on to 52.
Yeah.
We got the Pittsburgh Steelers taking Desmond Ridder, quarterback out of Cincinnati. I hate it.
Heck yeah, I love this
Let's
pick.
move on.
I'm just glad
How
to
do you
see
go from Ben Roethlisberger, who's so easily hateable, to Desmond Ridder, who I really like? I don't want him to go to the Steelers.
Especially since he's from Ohio.
Let's just move on.
Okay, just real quick though, we don't have a whole lot of quarterbacks going in the second round, so don't be too much on your edge of your seat here. But Desmond Ritter's 6'5", he's fast, and he's got an arm enough to play in the NFL, that's for sure. So Steelers are gonna make a good quarterback out of him if he goes there.
His biggest biggest drawback is his accuracy, which is basically just basic fundamental parts that are easily coachable. And I'm sorry, but if you give Mike Tomlin, a guy that's got all the ability in the world and just needs a couple things coached, it's gonna get coached. So let's not go there.
All right, moving on. We got Packers taking Christian Harris, linebacker, Alabama. Mikey, I think this is you.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, Packers. Obviously, if you guys watched our first round mock draft or first round to this, the Packers went doubling up on receivers in Jamison Williams and Treylon Burks. So here in the second round, picking up a guy on the other side of the ball on defense and linebacker, especially with losing Smith. What's his first name?
Za'Darius?
Yes, Za'Darius. That's what I wanted to say, but I didn't know if I was correct because there's two of them. But, yep, losing Za'Darius Smith. And then I think getting a guy like Christian Harris to come in. And obviously you can't replace a guy like that in just one second-round draft pick. But I think you're getting a guy that has the potential to get to that level for sure. And Alabama linebackers usually do all right in the NFL. Dante Hightower. But, I think the Packers picking up Christian Harris here in the second round, I think it's a good pick for him.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. It has a different type of versatility for him.
Yes.
In the linebacking core that you need.
Okay, I realized. I think I picked Christian Harris, and then Mikey picked.
Anyway,
Justin Ross, wide
yeah.
receiver, out of Clemson.
That was my line. Anyways, I'm going to say it again. With the 54th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Justin Ross, wide receiver, Clemson. We're turning into
next wide receiver, Breast, and next to N'Keal Harry.
That's facts, probably. We're turning into the Clemson, the team that likes to draft the Clemson boys with Andrew Booth as our first round pick, and now Justin Ross as our second round pick here. But I like Justin Ross. He's a big body receiver. His freshman year? It was his freshman year. He lit the whole country up. Dude was an absolute beast. He went down with an injury, and pretty bad one. He had to have spinal surgery. But what's spinal surgery to a player, huh? You know what I'm saying? But Justin Ross, on a serious note, he's quick. He's quick. He has good route running. He kind of lacks separation on a few routes, and he will have a concentration drop here or there. I think he averages 3 drops a year or something like that. But in the end, he's also known as one of the best high point receivers in the entire country. Yeah. And that is something we lack at tremendously, is our receivers going up and going after the football, Nelson Aguilar. So I think getting a guy like Justin Ross that can just absolutely moss receivers. See what I did there? But Justin Ross kind of going to take after our Randy Moss and go up there and high point that football. Hopefully that's what can happen if we do get our hands on Justin Ross.
Okay. Your Randy Moss? Come on.
My Randy Moss.
He's a Viking. Everyone knows it.
That's not true.
Alrighty.
He's a Patriot.
I guess this one's me, Dylan, right?
Yeah.
We got the Arizona Cardinals taking my boy Cameron Thomas out of SDSU, San Diego State. He's a very good edge. He's productive. He doesn't have that elite trait that the guys that have been going before him do, but he's very productive and he's very polished. I think it's a good pick, and it's kind of a necessary. Sorry, like a hiccup that wasn't coming out. He's a necessity pick for him as well. They just lost Chandler Jones. They really don't have much edge besides J.J. Watt, and if you're getting a guy that is productive and polished, pairing him up next to J.J. Watt and learning from him, as well as getting the benefit of having to play across or from him, it's a good situation to be in.
Yeah, I think that's kind of wrapping it up pretty good there on Cameron Thomas. He's someone that I think a lot of people had higher earlier on in the process, but I think he's kind of settling down as a mid to late second round pick.
It's really just he just doesn't have that freak athleticism, and that's kind of what teams want in that first round. They want something that can be like unattainable normally.
True.
So.
And everyone believes that they can coach anyone. So, alrighty, sliding on down here, the Cowboys. I think this one was me. Taking Darian Kennard here. I think he's someone that he can play tackle. He's a great run tackle, and the Cowboys love to run. He could start right away potentially, but I imagine that they're gonna, kind of kick him inside for a little bit. But I think this is a year 2, 3, or 4 kind of pick for him. He's got great size. He's got the great ability in the run game, and they just lost La'el Collins, so this is kind of I wouldn't say need, but it's definitely something that they could use to fill a spot to put in some more competition there. So yeah, I think this is a solid pick.
This next one I think is Michael.
Yeah,
this is
his favorite team.
Yep.
Best red and blue team in the AFC East.
Not true.
You're gonna be seeing some beautiful Bills merch that Mikey's gonna be wearing.
Oh yeah. But anyways, with the 57th pick, the Buffalo Billies are going with Kenneth Walker III, running back out of Michigan State. I like the pick for him because they need a running back. They have Singletary.
Devin Singletary.
Yeah, Devin Singletary. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, not the greatest running backs. Singletary did kick it on near the end of the season there, but can't always rely on a guy to do that week in, week out. And I think getting some depth back there at running back, especially with a guy like Kenneth Walker, I think you can do no wrong. I hate this pick. I hope it doesn't happen because Kenneth Walker is insane. And I think he just adds that extra threat to what the Bills already have going on. With Josh Allen, with his arm and being able to run. You got Stephon Diggs, Corey Davis, and then Isaiah McKenzie.
Gabriel Davis.
Yeah. They did pick up Corey Davis, though.
No, Corey Davis is on the Jets.
They picked up Jamison Crowder.
Oh, yeah, Jamison Crowder. Yeah, that's right. Gabriel Davis, yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. Jamison Crowder. They still have, I think his name's Isaiah McKenzie or something like that.
Yeah.
Wide receiver. That dude kicked it on near the end of the year. And with, they signed O.J. Howard, too, didn't they?
Yeah, they just want to make the Patriots
so
what they
and they still have Dawson Knox, I'm pretty sure, too.
Yes.
And Dawson Knox is no slouch either, so they have 2 great tight ends, pretty solid receiver core, and then adding a guy like Kenneth Walker into their running back group just makes their offense that much better. Yay. Move on.
Yeah, sorry, I'm yawning because it's getting late for me. But Gage, I think this one's you.
Yeah, we have the Falcons taking Jalen Petrie, cornerback out of Baylor. He ran the fastest 40 time.
That's the other Baylor guy.
Other Baylor guy? Okay.
Petrie's not slow.
No. I just was I knew it was a Baylor corner. I just didn't remember which one. But it fits into what the Falcons need. You got a lot of people, mocking Sauce Gardner to them just because they do need a corner. They only have one, but they do have one very good one.
Yes, they do.
So we went with Garrett Wilson in the first. We'll take Jalen Petrie in the second round, along with Leo Chenal. Help that defense just improve a little bit more. Give that second man to their who was the beast that they played corner this year? He played amazing. AJ Terrell. Yeah, and just try to build up a young core at corner. So you're gonna need it in your division for one of the teams at least. Definitely not for the Panthers.
Yeah. All right, moving on. The Packers' 4th pick so far in the draft. They're just loading up everywhere. Drake Jackson could kind of say a lot of the same things about Drake Jackson as what we said about Cameron Thomas. Just productive edge.
Yeah.
Got great, productive on the field. They got good measurables off the field, and just all around, they're good pieces there. I don't think anyone's seen them being these high ceiling kind of guys, but they're definitely going to make an impact. And the other pick that we got for the Packers was that linebacker Christian Harris. But Drake Jackson coming in also kind of helps with that front seven just that much more. The Packers are playing for now. They're not playing for the next couple of years. And so Drake Jackson is a great piece to just throw in there right now, adding into the artillery that they got on the defensive line. And I think this is just a solid pick for him.
He's not going to be your double-digit a year sack guy, but he can be the guy that gets you 6 to 8, which is invaluable to a franchise, especially when you already have Campbell and the other Smith.
Yes.
So,
alrighty, Mikey boy.
60th pick here, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, going with Brian Asamoah, linebacker out of Oklahoma. Took a lot out of me not to say it the other way I usually say it. But yeah, Brian Asamoah here. Second Oklahoma guy off the board in this second round here, and I think he will fit in well at the Bucks. Bucks could use another linebacker. Their main guy, Levante David, dude's a stud, but their other guy that they got paired up with him,
Devin White.
Yeah, Devin White.
Down year.
Yeah, down year last year.
Right.
Has what?
To be polite.
Yeah. Yeah, down year last year, to say the least. Hasn't really been performing since he's been drafted, but you need a few more guys at linebacker anyway. So I think getting a guy like Brian Asamoah to kind of get in that rotation, hopefully learn a thing or two from Levante David, Nebraska boy, and hopefully grow into what Levante David is and was for the Bucks.
Nice.
All right, sliding on down, not the Giants, the San Francisco 49ers. Gage.
I cannot read it.
So Kingsley Nagbare, edge, South Carolina.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. He is like raw. Very, very raw, but extremely gifted athletically. And if there's one team that I should say that a lot of teams can do it. The Niners have a very good defensive line, and they do very well with producing their talent there. And I think this is a good edge piece to add to them. He fits their scheme, that traditional 4-3 style scheme, and it's just a good match. I would be happy with this if I were them.
Yeah. They did take a defensive tackle out of South Carolina that hasn't seen a whole lot of playing time, but I don't think they should be too worried about taking this guy in the second round at all. But anyways, sliding on down, 62, safety Nick Cross out of Maryland. Nick Cross
making out like bandits, dude.
Yeah. Nick Cross is speed out of Maryland. I think he ran a 4.3, but he is rangy. I think he'll fit a role. You can't just replace players. You can't replace Tyrann Mathieu. You're not going to do it. I'm sorry, but Nick Cross is going to be a very solid safety for him. He's something that they need where, when they get tired and they're getting into those late games where it's just touchdown after touchdown, just 60 kind of passes in a game, kind of battle like they had
Buffalo
with
Bill
the Bengals.
playoff game.
That one, yeah. Nick Ross is going to be out there, just rangy. He can handle those deep routes and stuff like that. So I think this is just someone that you keep on top of the defense, and he's not going to let anyone behind him.
So you don't get that speed that he has at safety very often in the NFL. There's not a lot of just absolute flat out burners like that at safety. And he has got a couple traits that make him already a really good prospect. But then adding that speed, he could be a very, very good safety in the NFL. So
Yeah.
I don't like the pick for him, but I like the pick for him, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And with second round, we haven't gotten into too many negatives on these players because that's what you do with first round picks. You find everything, you nitpick them and stuff like that. Once we are in these second rounds, you kind of look for what makes this player good and why can they be a starter essentially for our team eventually. But 63, Chad Muma out of Wyoming's the linebacker. I think Logan Wilson's also a linebacker out of Wyoming, if I'm not mistaken. So you get two Wyoming boys keeping that middle of the field clear. I think this is a very solid pick for him.
Yeah, he was dominant in the Mountain West. You saw somebody he played with. Oh my gosh, why am I spacing out his name all of a sudden? Wilson from the Bengals.
Logan Wilson?
Yeah, Logan.
Yes, thank you, Logan Wilson.
Or Luke Wilson, maybe.
No, I think you're right with Logan.
Yeah, I think it's Logan.
Okay.
Yeah. Similar player. That's what you're getting. You see Logan Wilson, Chad Muma is about the same.
Yeah, so they'll be pairing up in the same backfield.
Crazy.
Unfortunately.
Yep. Unfortunately.
All right. Well, last pick from the Broncos. I think this is from from whatever trade. Oh yeah, Von Miller. Von Miller gives them Marcus Jones, cornerback / kick returner out of Houston. I think Mikey. I think you made this pick, did you?
Did I?
I did.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. He is not necessarily going to be their starter, right? They already have an incredible secondary, but he is like like Dylan was saying, just flat out speed. The guy is extremely fast. He's a great returner, which
yes, he is.
The Broncos struggled with this last year. So you get to add that into there, which is important. Special teams is important, and then you also get a guy that you don't have to rely on to start, but is a very good rotational piece in your secondary. You already got Sertan. Go ahead, Dylan.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say Marcus Jones reminds me a lot of Isaiah Rodgers, which the Colts picked up about 2 years ago, and Isaiah Rodgers reminded me a lot of Kenny Moore. They're very similar type of players. If you're kind of make a mold after Kenny Moore, this is what Marcus Jones is. He's got that size. He's very fast in the slot, but he's got very good hands. He's a playmaker for sure.
Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking he reminds me a lot of Ronald Darby, who's already on the Broncos, and that's kind of why I thought of him when making the pick with them.
Oh yeah.
Because Ronald Darby is getting more and more expensive for them, and they're not going to be able to keep him. But he's a very similar style of corner. So, but that's it, right, Dill? That's everybody.
I believe that's everyone. Yeah, we again we're gonna start doing more of these second rounders. Getting kind of closer to the draft. We'll get deeper into who these players are. We're not going to come and BS you about these players. So if we haven't gotten enough to watch on third rounders yet, we're not going to do that. So, but yeah, let us know what you think, especially with the teams that didn't have a first round pick, like the Bears or the Browns, the Colts.
Broncos.
Yeah, so just let us know how you feel about your team. This is some more information for you. Hopefully we didn't leave anyone out that we should have kept in here. But yeah,
there's probably one guy that we've just completely not drafted, and They're
Yeah.
gonna be like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, we're not perfect, but if you've watched this far, definitely drop a subscribe on us. We put out this kind of content a lot. So other than that, drop a like and do the YouTube thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Do it.
Do it now.
Yeah.
All right. You guys have a great night.
Yep. Peace out.